We've not mentioned one man. Obinwa Nnaji. You know, Bolakpo Oguso was in charge of the Ibadan Lagos Axis Press. Yes. Nnaji was for the East.
About 11 months ago, I was there when it was put in the ground. We lost Obinwa. Obinwa fought throughout the war and rose to be a captain. Obinwa was fighting at Mburichi because he was fond of that story. Owerri Port Harcourt axis. He said he looked backward to see his soldiers that were accompanying him for a battle that was scheduled for the next 2 hours. That was his father. Obinwa was born in Yaba. That's why his name is Obinwa Dele Nnaji. His father was a soldier in Yaba here. He was commanding his father. So he excused his father. He said, don't follow us in this battle, the Mburichi battle. We either get Mburichi this afternoon, none of us will come back, so stay back. Obinwa died March last year because of mismanaged surgery at Abuja. He mobilized the entirety of the media from Calabar to Enugu to Owerri to Port Harcourt. He mobilized them. Because he was the editor of satellite newspaper. Every weekend, he would either summon them or he would visit them. He used his contacts in the north because he worked with New Nigerian, worked with the news agency of Nigeria, and made things very easy for me, made things very easy for our people, made things very easy for our leader. And Emeka arrived.
He was a star of the struggle.
He was not only in the fighting during the Biafran war, he was among those that liberated Owerri. After the war, Obinwa Nnaji helped us. Because the second phase of the battle, after the collapse of Biafra, the aide, I will tell you, was Emeka's coming home, was a battle. But now, not a shooting war, it was a political battle. There were those who said he can't come.
They wanted him to die in exile?
They wanted him to die in Yamoussoukro or Binjaville.
But he said, no, I'm coming home.
I'm coming home.
Another journalist we should talk about is the author of this book. You see, this is the story of Ojukwu. Written by Frederick Forsyth, entitled Emeka. This is the story of Emeka Ojukwu. His biography, written by his bosom friend. He was a British journalist.
He was.
You can get this book on udarabooks.com. You can order your copy on udarabooks.com or through our WhatsApp numbers. What was the role of Frederick Forsyth?
In Exile, I used to occupy guest house with him. The guest house had about 6 en-suites. He occupied one, I occupied one for a long time in Yamoussoukro. That's the place I told you was Hufo Bonye's country home. There's an office down, then residential, there's guest houses, all furnished. I don't think Emeka would take any critical political decision without Frederick Forsyth.
It was that close.
They were that very close, aide.
So everything he wrote about Ojukwu was comprehensive.
Emeka proofread this book. Emeka proofread it. Even the Biafran story, Emeka proofread it. And he's an avid reader. He's an avid reader.
During the war, he told the Biafran story.
Yes.
In fact, he was a Biafran.
He came as BBC correspondent. When BBC were busy editing his material, they discovered that this man is no longer our staff. He be like, say, he's a staff of either the Radio Biafra or Emeka Ojukwu himself. So they told him to come back. They pulled him out. When he arrived in London, he stayed for 2 weeks, he came back to Biafra. I don't want to know, keep your job.
As an independent
journalist. As an independent journalist. That's how Fred became intertwined with our struggle. In Exile, if Frederick Forsyth is not in Yamoussoukro or Binjaville, Emeka will tell you where he is. They're personal friends. He was in the aircraft that brought him home. He was in the aircraft that brought him. Imaka was in the aircraft.
Ojukwu came home.
Yes.
What informed Ojukwu's decision to join the MPN, Shagari's party?
I had withdrawn at this point, aide.
But you have written a book.
I had withdrawn at this point because at a point in our struggle to bring him back, Chubu Okadibo made a statement offhandedly, and I got the message. I said, this one, another struggle. I won't participate in this one. The moment Emeka touched feet on Nigerian soil at Ikeja, say, Ozole, you don't do.
You've done yours.
I've done your mine, aide. I've done mine.
So you didn't know what informed
I don't know what informed his decision to associate with MPN. I don't know what informed his decision to isolate UPN. I don't know why he hated MPP, except the fact that anything Zik is revolting to him. That's all.
He ran for Senate.
He did.
And Zik's party defeated him.
That defeat was concocted. That defeat is not real. Dr. Mudiwe couldn't have defeated Emeka in a place like Anambra.
Some felt that diminished his status.
He didn't. He didn't. He didn't. Emeka still had an aura. Emeka was a kind of personality that you cannot diminish. It even ignited the ambition for him to continue the struggle. He didn't even start with the NPN. He wanted an NPP from the book with Ibrahim, the man who said
GNPP.
GNPP.
Yeah.
The man who said he practices politics without bitterness. He wanted to run for house.
Perhaps it was part of the deal to bring him home.
Yes,
you said Chubu Okadibo made a statement.
Yes.
So perhaps it was part of the deal that we can't bring you home
and you join another party.
You join another party.
I was not party to that.
That's a fair deal.
Yeah, it could be obvious.
That's a fair deal.
That's a fair deal, yes.
I can't bring you home
and you join.
And you not join my opponents to defeat me.
Ed, that assumption can be tolerated. It can be tolerated.
As we round off this session, look at this book, because Ojukwu is Biafra, and Biafra is Ojukwu. The Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War, written by Alexandra Majebu. You know this man.
He was with us in Yamoussoukro.
He was there.
A later relocated to Abidjan.
So he went on Exile too?
Oh yes. It was his personal friend that encouraged him to come. T.Y. Danjuma. He commanded Danjuma. Danjuma was a small boy to him. We knew when the negotiation started. Emeka knew. He said, these army people, these soldiers, they have what they call camaraderie. They don't offend themselves. There is something linking Maduebo and T.Y. Danjuma. There's something linking them. So he encouraged him to come.
He was the commander of Biafran army.
He was the commander of the whole Biafran army.
Alexandra Madiebo.
Yes. When Hilary Njoku fell out of favor, he appointed a Lex from Oka, a good soldier, who spent all his years soldiering in Kaduna Kano axis.
Did he read the manuscript of this book before it was published? Because this is one of the most authoritative work on the Biafran War.
Yes.
Did he read it?
I don't know, but I took it to him.
You took it to him, the manuscript?
Yes.
Did you read it?
Not the manuscript.
The book?
The book itself.
Did you read the manuscript?
No.
You didn't? This is another book you should read on the Biafran War.
Alexander Maduebo.
Another book we are recommending to you is this one, General of the People's Army. Chuks Ilebunam edited this work. It's about Ojukwu because the story Kanayo Esinulo has told us is the story of Ojukwu in exile, diplomacy, and survival. He has filled that gap. But you can still write another book. I can still see gaps that you refuse to fill. Perhaps you decide to fill the gap.
I will try.
You will try.
I will try. I promise you. Aide, I promise you.
Do you still want Biafra?
Do I still
want Biafra?
I think it now belongs to history books.
It now belongs to history books?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
There are young boys in the southeast agitating for Biafra.
They don't know what we passed through. They don't know the history of how we came to that junction.
Are you sure they don't know? They are listening to this program.
They are listening to your program. They are reading so many books, but they have to understand the genesis of Biafra. Biafra, I expect it in that book, was born out of agony. B-I-A, born out of agony, fighting to remain alive. That's Biafra. This one we're in the southeast. It's not Biafra. Biafra was born in agony.
Born in agony. That is B, born. I in. A, agony. F, fighting. R, to remain alive. Alive.
Born in agony, fighting to remain alive. It's in this book.
That is Biafra.
That is Biafra.
So that agony is gone?
So these young people, they don't understand how we came about it. You don't come about Biafra by killing people in Osuomo and Okigwe and Olu. It's not Biafra. That's not our concept of Biafra.
So you're not happy what's going on in the southeast?
I don't like the killings. Because it was the killings in the north that made us to run away from Nigeria to found our own country. So where do they want us to run away from? Let them sit down and think.
Do you still go home? Because where you come from is like a hotbed of what is going on.
It's the worst.
In Alibu now.
Olu is the worst.
You are from Imo State?
Yes.
From Olu?
So if these young boys will sit down and listen to some of us and understand the dynamics that led to Biafra, that it was a country born in agony.
Are Igbo elders talking enough?
They are. I think they are, but the young boys are not listening. I wish I can sit down with some of them and tell them. I wish they can read this book. I wish they can read this book.
Do you think Nnamdi Kanu should be released?
That will bring down the temperature, political temperature there. That will be the greatest thing.
Tinubu should release him now.
If he says he's a strategist, I challenge Bayo Ononoga, who is my personal friend. Let him tell him that his strategy to release this boy, put Bola Tinubu up there. And let me tell you something about the Igbos, which some people don't know. Say, they like money, they work hard, they are very enterprising. They don't forget, they don't forgive. If Tinubu releases Nnamdi Kanu, he's made in Igbo land, I'm telling you.
Ojukwu's wife is part of Tinubu's government now.
Oh, yes.
You are in support of that?
Yes. When people were complaining about identification with APC, and I don't talk about party now. Let her go inside there. If by this December that began today, Tinubu makes the courageous decision to release that young man, you see what will happen. Why do we respect Shehu Shagari? Why do you think the Igbos like Shehu Shagari? Except that the Muslims, they bury the same day or the next day. If they had kept his body, the Igbos would be in Sokoto to participate in his burial.
He allowed Ojukwu home.
That's why I'm talking to you about this Nnamdi Kanu scenario. If he announces that this young man should be released and he doesn't have to give us any conditions, we're not giving him any conditions, Tinubu may not probably campaign in Igbo land. My people are emotion. I'm not talking being emotional. Their emotion itself. That's their. When Emeka talk in Biafra, don't forget our popular song. We just left secondary school. Ojukwu Nyayegbe, Ojukwu Nyayegbe. Give us gun. If those around Tinubu have the good mind, the good heart of advising him on Nnamdi Kanu, he carries the day in Igbo land, I'm telling you.
Kanayo Esinulo, thank you for featuring.
Ed, it's my pleasure meeting you. It's my pleasure appearing on this your program. I am a slave of this program. You didn't tell me before I told you that you interviewed the Brigadier's daughter. And Chuk Silebunam, and so many. I watch your program. So it not only gave me happiness that I'm invited here, it gave me pride, gave me joy to be your guest. Thank you very much indeed.
And thank you for writing this book.
And thank you for inviting me.
I love this book. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aide.